In today's gaming industry, most launches are broken or monetized to death. However, amongst all of the mess, we occasionally get a game that truly shines. One of these games is Helldivers 2. Sup guys, Squid here. I'm sure you are all too familiar with the state of gaming today. Essentially, every release is a gamble to see if developers kept their promises. Compared to gaming 20 years ago, the games now are designed to extract money first and be fun second. There are too many examples of this. Helldivers 2 first caught my attention in February last year when I saw a bunch of clips of the gameplay, with many people saying it's the closest you can get to an ODST game since Halo 3 ODST. Being a diehard Halo fan, I had to check this out, and purchased the game on my PS5. I also didn't mind spending $40 to support a smaller developer that was just doing their own thing. Immediately, I thought it was fun, unique, and aesthetically beautiful. The closest games I could compare it to were Destiny, Fortnite Save the World, or Call of Duty Zombies. But it was different. I loved the stratagem mechanic, which forced you to look at the corner of your screen and fumble with buttons to make the right combination, all while there's chaos around you in every direction. Just like the Helldiver is looking at his wrist, you too are looking away from what's going on. It's genius game design in my opinion. The third and first person shooting feels good and punchy. And the aiming mechanic was also unique, where your gun doesn't necessarily aim where your crosshair is. Even in a science fiction universe, there was so much attention to the detail with weapons and equipment that it all felt so legit. I enjoyed the variety of enemies and planets that the battlefield would bring you to. Even though there was not much lore or story, it didn't matter. The MMO elements were awesome too. Pulling up to another group of ships to drop in and join their fight will forever feel badass. I love how you could see the progress of major orders for the entire player base, and how you could see other player ships in the background both while in orbit and on the ground. The world was meticulously crafted to make you feel so immersed, like you are the Helldiver and you are doing your part alongside the hundreds of thousands of other players fighting for democracy. In a previous video that I'll link to here, I talk about what makes a good game, and one of those elements was how immersive the experience the game presents. Helldivers 2 delivers an immersive experience on all fronts. Last year, I only had a couple friends on PlayStation and Steam to play this game with, and although playing with randoms was sometimes fun, I wasn't hooked enough to continue playing the game as consistently as I was after a few months. I'd still occasionally play, but you could say I was quite unpatriotic due to my absence on the battlefield. Fast forward to August of 2025, and the Halo 3 ODST Legendary War Bond was teased and then announced and released. In addition, there was way more content added since launch, and the game was finally coming to Xbox, where most of my friends play. I'd say I'm glad I gave the developer my money, since the game proved to be successful and profitable enough to bring to another platform. Also, shout out to Sony for doing their part to make this happen too. On top of that, in 2025 Discord is seamless with Xbox and PlayStation. It all sounded too good to be true, but what can you say? Arrowhead proved they can make banger games, and as the kids say now, they know ball. Even though the ODST Warbond was a bit disappointing in terms of gameplay value, the armor and weapons were done so well with serious attention to detail respecting the original IP. As soon as I heard this was happening, I did not need to think about purchasing this Warbond and coming back to the game. Let me tell you, my experience was amazing, and unlike last time, this game had made it to the main rotation. The ODST armor and weapons were so incredibly sick, and I had leftover medals, so I could unlock a decent chunk of the Warbond right away. I hopped in to contribute to a new major order, and although the game was familiar, there was a lot more going on that was completely new to me. I dropped into a city. There were level 100 plus Helldivers, and there were all these stratagems, weapons, and enemies I was seeing that I've never seen before. Overall, I was impressed, even with the lacking performance at times. Even though I could complete some of the easier levels, I wanted to get my hands dirty with level 6 and up. This is where Helldivers 2 starts to get really fun. You become a powerful enough force to do some serious damage, but at the same time, the world around you gets deadlier and deadlier. Force meets force, and there's a lot of death from both enemies and teammates. Not gonna lie, when I was staying up late and playing this game with my friends, I had feelings similar to when I used to stay up late and play the Legendary campaign on Halo. Even though us, the players, were powerful, the enemies were too, but the sandbox made the whole interaction so much fun. Yeah, that's right, it was still fun to struggle against hordes of powerful foes, but it made completing the mission feel even sweeter. Even with the frame drops and disconnects, the overall experience that the game delivers is still too much fun, especially with friends. And even when my friends weren't on, I found myself still wanting to play. And this time around, solo queue was a way different experience. For the most part, players were eager to be open and kind, sharing advice and firepower. Even though I was a returning PlayStation player, all players were welcome just as equally as the new Xbox players. I was quite surprised that this was the case, since I was expecting a lot more hazing to go on, to be honest. I also love it when a game's voice and text chat are active. A lot of players communicate, learn, and help each other, creating new friendships and forging a community together. I can argue that some of the best times I've had on Helldivers 2 were with randoms, and I think a lot of you may have had similar experiences. I've even added randoms I matched with and still continue to drop in and play with them. All this, too, in another way brings me back to those good old days of gaming, when people were just eager and happy to communicate while playing the game. Currently, I'm level 27, and I enjoy playing the level 6 through 8 missions. I completed the ODST Legendary Warbond, and I'm almost done with Helldivers Mobilize. The game has not only made it to the regular rotation for myself, but for my friends as well, so I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I also decided to upgrade to the Super Citizen Edition and purchase the newest Dust Devil Warbond. I also hope that with many more players, Helldivers can do even more with the story. I also hope cross progression is added to the game, as I like to play the PC version without losing any of my progress. Even though gaming hasn't been the same for years, Helldivers 2 reminds me that games can still bring people together. Crossplay, active game chat, strangers becoming friends. We don't care about the console wars or PC master race. Instead, we're all just on one big team of gamers that just want good games. If you made it this far, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing. And as always, please leave your thoughts below. I'd love to know how you feel about Helldivers 2 and its crossplay. Peace.